Welcome to this bite-sized video that gives a basic introduction into Aspen, an IP asset register. Aspen is an IP asset register. Aspen has been designed and developed to appeal to innovative and creative startups, spin-out companies and smaller SMEs, anxious to get all their IP assets better organized so they are identified and classified, logged and tracked. Aspen gives equal attention to all of the intangible assets that such a company may possess. Aspen even allows for other intangible asset classes to be defined if required. Aspen is a flexible but comprehensive tool designed to help an SME to manage all of its intangible assets, both registered and unregistered forms. For each asset type, there are predefined fields provided as a great starting point, but these can be added to, changed, or even removed to more closely meet the needs of the SME. It is easy to manage any relationships that may exist between different assets. For example, which assets are associated with a specific product or service of the SME. Data entry via forms improves data integrity and visibility. Aspen is capable of generating a rich variety of different reports. For example, analysis reports are reports full of graphs and charts, useful when presenting to key stakeholders, for example C-suite executives and key investors. Summary reports are reports that contain a one-page summary of the metadata for each intangible asset recorded in the register. Timeline reports are reports that show key dates associated with the intangible assets in the register and also include those dates displayed in a calendar style. The flat report is a large data file with almost all of the metadata copied from the register. The historical report will show the development of the intangible asset portfolio over time and basically allows the user to look back in time. The overview report shows how the features and functions of Aspen are being utilized, and brief reports, which are like snippets pulling data from what is currently being displayed on the Aspen screen. Aspen is a lightweight tool for recording a company's IP assets with associated metadata in a very structured manner. The Aspen solution is Microsoft Office-based and uses Microsoft VBA to provide the necessary logic. Aspen requires Microsoft Windows 10 and Microsoft Office. As the solution is Microsoft Office-based, deployment is easy. It is not a cloud-based solution, although it may work using Microsoft OneDrive, depending on how the company has set this up. There are over 50 IP data management systems out in the market at present, and Aspen sits at the lower end. Aspen should appeal to companies who do not want to have their IP assets logged on the back of a packet of cigarettes, but yet do not need or want all of the bells and whistles of many of the IP data management systems currently out in the market. Aspen has a number of advantages over the competition. It is a great first IP data management system for companies. It gives equal weight to all of the different forms of IP. It is easy to set up and configure and take into use, requiring less than 1 day of training to become a super user. It is relatively inexpensive, there is no technology lock-in, and companies may easily upgrade to more advanced IP data management systems if required in the future. Although we designed Aspen for innovative and creative startups, spin-out companies and smaller SMEs, a significant percentage of licensees are IP firms, particularly boutique IP firms. A number of IP firms now provide an IP management service on an outsourced basis for as much or as little time as the SME company needs. In essence, these IP firms provide a virtual IP manager to such companies. Many companies, particularly SMEs, cannot justify the expense of employing a full-time IP manager. Sometimes there is just simply not enough volume of work to support a full-time role. Aspen helps such IP firms to provide a true IP service offering, rather than just a patent or trademark offering. Of course, Aspen can be licensed directly by innovative and creative startups, spin-out companies, and smaller SMEs. However, it is imperative that someone within the organisation then takes responsibility for IP matters and actively uses the Aspen solution, setting up and configuring Aspen to suit the organisation, doing data entry and data manipulation, running reports and managing the portfolio of IP assets properly and professionally. Surprisingly, we are getting interest from some SMEs in our Aspen solution. However, we have noticed some commonality among these SMEs as follows. Firstly, these SMEs tend to operate in sectors where patents are not the be-all and end-all of IP. These tend to be SMEs with perhaps more interest in unregistered forms of IP. Secondly, these SMEs tend to be companies consisting of many different business units, where each business unit looks and acts like an SME. Thirdly, these tend to be SMEs with a decentralized approach to IP and IP management. There is no strong central IP function in corporate headquarters. Each business unit is responsible for IP and IP management. The fee structure for Aspen have been designed to offer real value for money. We recognise that most innovative and creative startups, spin-out companies and smaller SMEs have limited finances for IP matters. They also do not wish to be surprised by any hidden costs down the road. Aspen has been designed and developed to appeal to innovative and creative startups, spin-out companies and smaller SMEs anxious to get all their IP assets better organised so they are identified and classified, logged and tracked. Thank you for your attention.